Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. First off, can't play me, I ain't no Xbox. I'm pulling up, busting windows. I'm at your mama's spot, kicking cups, smacking dice. I'll make this block hot, no trapping here, slacking where? Wait, get your home right. I'm sick and tired of fucking crying and sleepless nights. Bitches approaching me, telling me they don't know of me. Oh, you think you slick, you think you got one up. You better ask my last nigga, cut his ass right up. Yeah, can't cry over spilled milk if I knew it was rotten. And all these memories we had, they was quickly forgotten. Oh, this nigga think he's smooth, he tryna cast it over me. Keep him lying through his teeth, leave his ass like can we be? No pink turtlenecks, but I'm feeling bad. You left, I can't let him go, but watch me loosen up. My grip, I'm hopping in my bag. I'm talking about that go wall. Shit, I need a couple bags. Ain't talking about no go yard, bitch. You geeking for? I'm really about to drag and go and cry no more. I had to tell that nigga stop playing with me before they find this picture on murder me. Be more careful with me. I ain't like these other bitches that you used to better watch the way you handling me. I told you just be careful with me. You better be more careful with me. I ain't like these other bitches that you used to better watch the way you handling me.
Hello, my darlings. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to the next installment of Be More Careful, the revised edition by the king of urban fiction, Shannon Holmes. Shannon Holmes wrote his first novel, Be More Careful, while in prison. When it was published, Be More Careful immediately became a #1 bestseller, making him a major name in a new generation of hip-hop fiction. He followed Be More Careful with the bestsellers Bad Girls and Never Go Home Again. He lives in North Carolina with his wife and their 2 daughters. Much love, hugs, and kisses to all those that are catching this live. Thank you, and much love, hugs, and kisses to those that will catch this on the replay. Okay? So, we are starting with chapter 21. The sanitized smell of hospitals always made Tone a little nauseous. It reminded him of his short stay in a hospital as a kid when a car hit him. However, every day like clockwork, Tone stopped by Maryland General Hospital to check on Netta. She still hadn't regained consciousness and was confined to the intensive care unit. Besides him, Tina was the most consistent visitor. Often they'd run into each other and he'd stop and chat, then go about his business. Since the first night Netta arrived at the hospital, Mimi hadn't been back. The rest of the pound only dropped by once in a while. They were too busy doing their thing and them niggas. Tone looked down on them for that. They wasn't keeping it real with Netta. When he learned about Netta's tragic family situation from Tina, her dead mother and unknown father, he was determined to be there for her as much as he could. Nobody should be left alone like this. His thoughts were just as true as his intentions. Over the course of the next 3 weeks, Netta's condition steadily progressed. She went from critical condition to serious condition until one day she opened her eyes. Dazed, she came to even though she was disoriented. She came to even though she was disoriented. For a minute, she thought she was dead. She didn't know where she was. It was so quiet, except for the steady hiss of the respirator and other life support machines. She touched cold steel guardrails, still not realizing where she was. She squinted, her eyes trying to adjust her pupils to the bright lights. She looked around, seeing fellow patients lined up in beds to the left and right of her. Then, and only then, did she realize she was in a hospital. Every inch of her body ached. Her head was wrapped in white gauze like a mummy. She had intravenous tubes running into her arm, and when she tried to call for help, her voice sounds died in her throat. Her vocal cords were weak from lack of use. She noticed a buzzer by her right side. She grabbed it and pushed the button, activating a light outside her room. Netta vaguely remembered Black, the rape, or the beating. She was so confused and in need of answers. Nurse McNeil was a big-boned black woman with a large bosom. She was assigned to the ICU, and it was her who responded to Netta's call. At first, she assumed that this was some family member requesting her presence. Entering the room, Nurse McNeil was shocked to see Netta's wide-eyed and consciousness. Entering the room, Nurse McNeil was shocked to see Netta wide-eyed and conscious. A spiritual woman, she took this miraculous recovery as a sign of God. Much love, hugs, and kisses to those entering the room. Sweet Jesus, praise the Lord, she joyfully said, making the sign of the cross with her hand over her chest. What hospital am I in? How did I get here? How long have I been here? Who brought me here? What's wrong with me? Netta had 101 questions to ask Nurse McNeil. Answering as best as she could. Nurse McNeil gently spoke to her like she was family. She told Netta she had been raped and beaten within inches of death. Over the last few weeks, it was Nurse McNeil who had become emotionally attached to Netta, tending to her personal needs. She had done everything for Netta. And for Nurse McNeil, it was more than a job or a paycheck. It was her reason for living. Nothing in life gave her more satisfaction than helping another human being. But how? How? Who brought me here? By now, Nurse McNeil was sitting on Netta's bed, looking her directly in the eyes. Calm down, child. I told you all that I know, she said, gently touching her hand. Lay back. Take it easy. I'll get the doctor for you. He'll be able to tell you anything else that you want to know. Before Nurse McNeil could get out the door, Netta asked her one more question. Who left me all these balloons and roses? Your boyfriend. He comes by here to sit with you every day. My boyfriend? I ain't got no man, she thought to herself. You got a good man there. He must love you an awful lot. He's got a little accent. Sounds like he's from New York. So it was Tom. It had to be. She didn't know any other New Yorkers. But how did he find me? Netta wondered. Making his rounds as usual, dropping off drugs and picking up money, Tone's last stop was the hospital. Armed with a dozen red roses as usual, he came strolling into Netta's room, and boy was he surprised to find her awake and functioning. Oh snap! Yo, when you come out that coma? He couldn't believe his eyes. He had become so used to seeing Netta in He had become so used to seeing Netta y'all know I'm tongue twisted and I know how to pronounce this word. Encapsulated. There we go. See, encapsulated. But I'm trying to read it. He had become so used to seeing Netta incapacitated. There we go. And heavily medicated. So you can correct while reading. That's because I haven't read out loud in a long time. You know, it is what it is. Dag! Don't I get a hello? She said, giving him her brightest smile, trying her best to look pretty, even though she felt ugly. Not even looking in a mirror, she was self-conscious of her appearance. She could feel the cuts and bruises on her lips and head. Much love and hugs and kisses to everyone in the room. Yo, sleepyhead, what's up? For the first time in weeks, Netta laughed and it hurt like hell. Her ribs were fractured and she didn't even know it. Seeing her wince from the pain, Tone rushed to her side. Yo, you alright? Want me to get the doctor? He asked. I'm okay. My side hurts, she said, shaking her head no. Tone sat down in a chair next to her bed. He stared in her face. Damn, she still looks good, even though dude did a number on her, he thought to himself. The doctor told me that if you had gotten me here a minute later, I might be dead. Thank you, she said, feeling like a little kid. Yo, don't give me that charge. I ain't no hero. The doctors are the ones you should be thanking. Whatever, Clark Kent. I'm still thankful for everything you did. You're welcome, he said. Tone, tell me something. How did you find me to bring me here? This was the $1,000,000 question that Netta needed the answer to. Everything else added up except the role he played. Well, I waited at the restaurant for you over an hour. When you didn't show, Tone went on to recount every last detail that led to their paths crossing that dreadful night. from the strip joint to Peaches and the hotel, to hearing the screams and him and Peaches discovering her bloody body. Tone told her the entire story, overlooking nothing. For the first time in his life, he came clean to a female. Yes, he was in the next room fucking Peaches, and he let her know that. Why shouldn't he? She was in the next room, right? Everything he was saying made her stomach shrink and her breath a little short. She hoped he couldn't see it from the look on her face. Netta had been hoping, more like praying, that he hadn't found her. She could only imagine how she looked. It was then that Netta realized what an angel he was. The average man wouldn't have helped. The average man wouldn't be sitting here right now. Tone, however, had some questions of his own that he wanted some answers to. But he kept them to himself. He figured in time he'd know. And he didn't want to upset her or pressure her. So he changed the subject. Yo, you know Mimi is messing with my cousin. Excuse me, yo, I'm going to start that over. I don't like the way I read that. Yo, you know Mimi is messing with my cousin man, right? I bumped into Petey, Fila, and Rashida once or twice coming to visit you. But I don't think Mimi's been back since the night we brought you here. I thought she was your girl. She's only been to check on me once? Netta felt kind of funny. Excuse me, let me reread that. Netta felt kind of funny that Mimi wasn't by her side. For sure. Mimi could be seated where Tone was right now. But where was Mimi when she needed her? Netta was always there for Mimi in her times of need. She desperately tried to push the bad thoughts of Mimi out of her mind. But something had to be going on with her. Besides, what could be more important than this?
Come on, try to make you understand. Be more careful, better watch your step. Cats get caught slipping and their shirts is wet. Quiet is kept, we scheming where that work is kept. It's beef in the east, protect your chest in the west. Be more careful, better watch your step. Cats get caught slipping and their shirts is wet. Quiet is kept, we scheming where that work is kept. It's Baltimore, we know for money, murder, and sex. Murphy Homes, the land of the chrome and the raw bone. Yellow tape, vicinity, labeled a court zone. Ammunition, ranging from text to crossbows. Run up in grids, quick to put the pistol cross stones. We rapping and it ain't no secret. Taurus between the pelvis and the briefs. We got pieces that will rip all pieces. Double clips take together will endanger the species. My crime now mixed with raw, so my paper increases. I make $1 million on a busy corner. Master chemist with a vicious formula. Gotta run bounce to California. Y'all niggas know how Baltimore is. Station and bad work to the mortician and the florist. When I'm out of town, it's getting extorted. Then escorted to the city limits. Minus that 6-digit fortune. These locals are compelled by them evil forces. While haters get 18 holes like they up in golf courses. Be more careful, better watch. Cats get caught slipping and their shirts is wet. Quiet is kept, we scheming where that work is kept. It's beef in the east, protect your chest in the west. Be more careful, better watch your step. Cats get caught slipping and their shirts is wet. Quiet is kept, we scheming where that work is kept. It's Baltimore, we know for money, murder, and sex. From my locks to my Timbs and my all black. Saw hoodlum, war wounds and battle incisions. Granted me wisdom, penny gold, held me as a child in his bosom. Feeding me the milk of the world. I was given the game and taught the rules by urban wizards. Got you words with his flow. It's superb and vicious. Matter of fact, got you more. It's intense and malicious. Yeah, don't get it fucked up. I like to send a shout out to all my bitches, from the knock 'em down to the pussy pound. Keep it tight, my bitches, cause every day in the underworld we facing dilemmas. Do we run or bust that gun? We'll face it together, my niggas. Sell pot, running forward with big plans and big decisions. Ain't stopping our hustle, so keep it together, my niggas. It's one love. All it takes is one snitch to ruin it all. Keep your circle close knit, cause a brick house won't fall. Keep your basement door locked, don't let them rats infiltrate. Cause if you see one, then you got 20 that poison the food on your plate. Listen, build your man, cause I got a plan to make it right. Please don't come through tripping, cause you won't make it through the night. Be more careful, better watch your step. Cats get caught slipping and they shirts is wet. Quiet as cat, we scheming where that work is kept. There's beef in the east, protect your chest in the west. Be more careful, better watch your step. Cats get caught slipping and they shirts is wet. Quiet as kept, we scheming where that work is kept. It's Baltimore, we know for money, murder, and sex. Be more careful, better watch your step. Cats get caught slipping and they shirts is wet. Quiet as kept, we scheming where that work is kept. There's beef in the east, protect your chest in the west. Be more careful, better watch your step. Cats get caught slipping and they shirts is wet. Quiet as kept, we scheming where that work is kept. It's Baltimore, we know for money, murder, and sex. Hit me.
Much love, hugs, and kisses to all those in the room. Much love, hugs, and kisses to all those that will see this on a replay. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please feel free to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live. I thank you in advance for all the thumbs up, the shares, and the love shown and the support. If you would like to tip, look in the description box, look in my about section. And during intermission, I do run it across the bottom of the screen rather. But I thank you all in advance. Much love, hugs, and kisses. Now we continue. Chapter 22. Die! You bitch ass nigga, die! Netta screamed as she plunged the large hunting knife into Black's chest over and over again. What goes around comes around, motherfucker! Popping out of her sleep, she realized she was dreaming again. She looked up at the hospital ceiling. Black was nowhere in the room, only in her dream. This was the same reoccurring dream she'd been having for the past few nights. What's the matter, Netta? You had another bad dream about that bad boy? Asked Nurse McNeil, rushing to her side. Damn, she must have heard me again talking in my sleep. Yeah, Netta admitted it, a little embarrassed. I know what that boy did to you was wrong. He hurt you real bad, baby. I know. But you got to let it go. It's human nature to seek revenge. Just remember the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. The Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Everything has its time. And right now, it's time for you to heal. Not only your body, but also your mind. Live and let live. God will handle this for you. If you put it in his hands, I promise you, God will punish him. Don't you even worry about it, said Nurse McNeil, feeling Netta's pulse while she fed Netta some of her Christian doctrines. But Nurse McNeil, he tried to kill me. How am I wrong for wanting revenge? Said Netta, her street mentality alive and well. She lived by the code of the streets, an eye for an eye. See? Old habits die hard. Child, you young'uns are so violent these days. Y'all only have faith in what you can see. God will punish that boy on the day of judgment for the sin he's committed against you. God is the judge of all judges. Remember, Jesus turned the other cheek. Let him be your example. Because if you fight fire with fire, you'll only create a big blaze and everybody will get burned. Everything bad that happens, something good must come out of it. You got to turn the negative into a positive. What could possibly come from this? By far, this was the worst situation that life had ever placed her in. Up until now, no matter how life had tossed her, she always managed to land on her feet, like a cat with 9 lives. With the help of modern medicine, her injuries would eventually heal. Her psychological well-being was what was at stake. It was up to Netta to cure what ailed her mentally, but she was bent on revenge. For weeks, while she was recovering, Netta retraced the steps of her life, her struggles and successes. Even though she grew up with less than most, Netta still felt blessed to be alive, to have survived. Netta's first step to getting her act together was to let it go. Like Nurse McNeil said, all the hatred she had in her heart for Black was consuming her. Netta forgave, but she didn't forget. In order to move on, Netta knew it was time for a change. Time for her to make some decisions in order to take her life in a different direction. She had to break away from the streets, the street life and the life she was so familiar with. She had to break away from the game. For the first time in her life, Netta decided to make a conscious effort to do the right thing. But she feared change. She didn't know how to go about changing herself. Change represented the unknown, and the unknown was out of her realm of thought. But she knew there was nothing right about her life. It certainly wasn't right the way she used her body to get in a man's pockets either. She didn't even know their last names, just that they had a couple of dollars. There was nothing right about being a thief and a whore, and Netta didn't want to be neither of those things anymore. The reality of being thrown in this world with nothing, to have to steal and trick niggas for a living, then be violated the way Black had violated her, was nothing but a mental struggle for Netta's mind. She wanted to change from everything she once was. If she could have a new face, a new name, and move herself to a place where no one knew her, she could change. She could at least hold her head up, but that was only wishful thinking. The truth was, Netta couldn't get a new face and a new name, and she didn't have a new town to move to. She had to face B-more, her past, what she was, and who she wanted to be. She had to face it all. But there was one thing Netta could change. Netta had Nurse McNeil's granddaughter cut, style, and dye her hair. She did this in her hospital bed, deciding she needed a new look to go along with the new person she was going to be when she was released from the hospital. Tone, I want to show you something, Netta said innocently. That evening he was visiting. Much love, hugs, and kisses, doll. What? He said with a curious smile on his face. Promise you won't laugh. Yo, I promise. Now show me, Tone said. Remember, you promised you wouldn't laugh, Netta reminded him as she reached her hands to the back of her head and untied the scarf that covered her new hairdo. Surprise! She yelled as she snatched off the scarf, revealing her new short curly blonde hairstyle. You like? She asked, really needing his approval. I like that. It's definitely you. Now what you got to show me? Want me to close the curtain so we can get down to the nitty-gritty? Stop playing stupid. I'm serious, yo. I need you to do me a big favor. What is it now? He asked sarcastically. I need you to get a real estate agent and sell my house for me. I need you to put my furniture in storage. And I need you to sell my truck. Why? I thought you loved living in the hood. I do. I do love my hood. But that ain't the point. The point is, I need to get away from that hood. I need to see life outside of the hood. I know this might sound crazy, but all I've ever known is the streets and the game. That shit ain't for me anymore. Tone, you might think that I'm running from my past, but I'm not. I just want to put a little distance between me now and me back then. This shit has done something to me. I'm a changed person, a different person. And I want everything I do and I want everything I do to reflect that change. I feel you, but I still think you're running from something. You can't run from your past. It's who you are. Someday, you'll have to face it, and it's better to deal with it now than later. You can run, but you can't hide. Tone was hinting at her drama with that guy who had messed her up. Netta still hadn't told him that that guy was black. He had no idea how prophetic his words would be later down the line. The doctors were amazed at Netta's speedy recovery and healing powers. The scars and bruises were slowly vanishing from her face and body. With the help of cocoa butter, the wounds would disappear in time. They gave her a clean bill of health and discharged her from the hospital. Before leaving, Netta made her rounds saying her goodbyes to all the doctors and nurses who had helped her get well. She had a particularly long and complicated goodbye with Nurse McNeil. Nurse McNeil had treated Netta like family, like one of her own. You take my number and you call me, day or night. If you need anything, you call me. It was time to leave. Time to get on with life. She'd come full circle from not knowing what the future held for her to setting goals and planning the rest of her life. The material things she once cherished and damn near died for no longer meant anything. Those things had no value the way they used to. Netta had dreams that she wanted to pursue. She no longer wanted to use her looks or her body. Netta now knew from her long conversations with Nurse McNeil that the physical does indeed fade. Youth and beauty would go into decline long before her mind would. Of course, Tone was there to pick her up when she got released from the hospital. It was an occasion to celebrate. Tone took her to her new condo, located just out the city limits in one of the surrounding counties. Netta's new condo was fully financed by the sale of her row home and Range Rover. Almost everything from her former lifestyle had been sold. The cursed possessions helped comfort a new home. She replaced everything conservatively, and what was left over, she put in the bank. After Tone helped Netta settle in her new home, he became a permanent fixture. When he wasn't taking care of business, he was spending every possible moment with her. He took her to college when she registered for the fall semester at Catonsville Community College. He held her hand as she walked through the door, telling her she could do it, and truly believing she could pass any class they had. Then one day, out of the blue, it happened while they were watching a rented video. They kissed. And before either one realized it, they were making love. Months of pent up and raw emotions were released. "I love you," Netta whispered, snuggled in Tone's arms, and for the first time in her life, she meant it. This wasn't a game. She was running to get into his pockets. These were her true feelings. How couldn't she love him? He was her hero. He saved her life, and not a day after that had he left her side. He never once questioned her about what had happened. Tone was the only man for her, and she loved him with all her heart. Yo, you ever been in love with two females at the same time? Tone hypothetically asked his cousin man. He turned to him, seeking a sympathetic ear to his current dilemma. But instead, what he got was a voice of reason. "Nah, dog, what are you talking about?" Man inquired. "I'm saying, son, you ever been in love with one chick but just loved another one too while you were still in love with the first chick?" As Tone explained the situation as best as he could, without dropping names. Man was driving down the street. He turned his head and looked at his cousin. "Oh shit, nigga, you done fucked up now. What you gonna tell Sonia? You ain't feeling her no more?" See, this was the very reason Tone stopped seeking Man's advice. He knew Man would speak his mind regardless, whether he liked it or not. "Yo, it's not like that. Calm down. You jumping the gun. I love Sonia and all, but I can't lie. I'm in love with Netta," Tone said sincerely. "It's just me and her is more compatible than me and Sonia. Netta understands the game, and Sonia claims she understands the game, but she really doesn't. Because when it comes time for her to demonstrate her understanding, she can't. She's too busy nagging me about where I'm at, where am I going, who I'm with, what time I'll be home. It's a fucking headache and a bunch of silly, stupid shit. I can't make moves without hearing her fucking mouth." Man replied. That shit sounds good, but you still dead wrong. It ever dawned on you that she really cares about your monkey ass? Nigga, I think you just pussy whipped. Never got you open. Pussy whip? Never that. I get too much pussy for that. Well, if it ain't that, then what is it? I'm saying, you've been with Sonya for forever. I thought y'all was getting married and shit. Yo, things change and people change. I can't explain how this happened, but I can tell you this. It's not about no pussy. It's about compatibility. Me and Netta just vibe better. Oh, so you ain't hit it yet? Asked man, being sarcastic. I ain't say all that. I ain't gonna lie on my dick neither. But I've been feeling honey way before anything ever jumped off. So, something was there from the start. It ain't a sex thing. Whatever. I spoke my piece. You're gonna do what you wanna do. Anyway. But two things for certain, and one thing for sure. Sonya's gonna bug the fuck out of you when you tell her this. I wouldn't want to be you. And what about that kid that hurt honey? Suppose homeboy come back with some more drama. If that's gonna be your wifey, you gotta hold her down and protect her. Yo, sis might be more trouble than she's worth. Think about it. In my opinion, you're making a bad move. It's bad money. How you gonna throw away a sure shot thing for the unknown? Netta could be faking the funk, fronting for all you know. But you need to be a man about this shit and tell Sonya what the fuck is going on as soon as you figure this shit out. And the sooner, the better. Tone, you owe her that much, said man in Sonya's defense. Sonya had been around for 6 years now. 6 years and nothing was wrong. If Tone wanted to throw away 6 years, then let him. Man just didn't understand why. Yeah, you're right. I do owe her that. Tone sighed, thinking of having to tell her the truth. Taking man's advice, he went home immediately to break the news to Sonya and let the chips fall where they may. When he entered the 2-bedroom apartment in Northeast Baltimore, she was on him. Much love, hugs, and kisses to all my darlings. Welcome to the room. Motherfucker, we need to talk. Where the fuck you been? I ain't seen your ass in days, she said as Tone breezed right by her and headed for the bedroom with her right behind him. What we got to talk about? Tone asked as he flopped down on the bed. About you and me, about us, she said, standing over top of him, pointing her finger as Tone stared blankly back at her and swallowed hard. You don't love me like you used to. The statement hung in the air, and Tone wondered, was it obvious? Though Sonya was busy focusing on school, she wasn't stupid. She knew Tone was cheating. He was telling on himself by his actions. They weren't having sex, and Tone was a sex fiend. So she knew he had to be getting it from somewhere. While Sonya was laying the foundation for their future, Tone was busy fucking it up. Why do you say that? he asked calmly. What? Why I say that? I'll tell you why I say that. Because your ass is hardly ever here. You never come home at night anymore. When you do come home, it's daytime. And all you do is sleep the day away, then roll out. What type of shit is that? You ain't hustling on a block anymore? You got plenty of workers. So what the fuck is keeping you in the streets like that? Tone? For the past few months, it's been getting worse. You used to keep your hands off. Couldn't keep your hands off me. We used to fuck 3 or 4 times a day. Now it ain't even 3 or 4 times a week. Tone, I'm not stupid. Yo, I know you fucking. As much as you love pussy, you got to be. You probably fucking one of those nasty ass strippers from that club El Dorados whose matchbooks I keep finding in your pockets. Tone laid back and didn't say a word. He let her get out all the frustration off her chest. He hoped that she'd given him a way out. He didn't have the heart to hurt her. Breaking up was a little more difficult than he imagined. Tone, you supposed to be my man. But you out here sticking dick in all these other bitches while I'm in school busting my ass. This shit got to stop. Tone, you trying to be too many things. You can't play every angle. You can't be a baller, a player, a hustler, and a thug. You just can't. Not if you're my man. Tone was in a jam. He was torn between what was good for him and what he thought was good for him. Sonia or Netta, A or B, choose. Either way, he felt like he'd lose out on something. Either way he went, neither possessed the same qualities, but they both had certain intangibles that he loved. Nigga! Just don't lay there looking stupid. Say something, she demanded. I need some time alone. I'm tired of being nagged every day. Maybe we need to take a break from each other. What the fuck you mean? You need some time alone? What you really trying to say is you want some more time to spend with them other bitches. Stop being a fucking coward, Tone, and come out and say it, nigga, she spat. Whatever, man. I'm not going to argue with you, Tone said as he got off the bed and began to gather up some of his things. He was taking the easy way out. He was going out like a sucker. Much love, hugs, and kisses to all those in the room. Sonia stood directly in back of him. Her hard stare could have burned a hole in the back of his head. Tone, if you leave out that door, it's over. Don't come the fuck back. I'm serious. Her words had no effect on him. Tone continued to stuff his clothes into a duffel bag. Nigga, you making a big mistake. Go on. Move right in with that bitch. You going out for a hamburger when you got steak at home? Motherfucker. What that bitch got that I ain't got? What, she sucking your dick or blowing bubbles up your ass? See what the fuck I'm saying? It never stops. I come home from the streets to deal with this shit? No, we can't even talk anymore, Tone snapped as he headed for the door. So, what? It's over? That's it? After all this time, motherfucker, you gonna cheat on me and it's just over? Motherfucker, get the fuck out, because I'm not kissing your ass after everything I've done for you. We came down here together. Tone, me and you, and we were supposed to stay together, she said with tears flowing down her cheeks as she turned her back to him. He stopped for a moment, thinking as the door stared him in the face. Maybe as she ran over to him, begged him, promised not to nag him, and promised to let him do what he wanted to do with whomever he wanted, then maybe he would have dropped his bags. But she didn't run over, and she didn't beg him, and she only had 2 seconds. Instead, she turned her back. Tone slammed the door, walking out on the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. First off, can't play me, I ain't no Xbox. I'm pulling up, busting windows. I'm at your mama's spot, I'm kicking cups, smacking dice. I'll make this block hot, no trapping here, slacking where? Wait, get your home right. I'm sick and tired of fucking crying and sleepless nights. Bitches approaching me, telling me they don't know of me. Oh, you think you slick, you think you got one up? You better ask my last nigga, cut his ass right up. Yeah, can't cry over spilled milk if I knew it was rotten. And all these memories we had, they was quickly forgotten. Oh, this nigga think he's smooth, he tryna cast and over me. Keep him lying through his teeth, leave his ass like can we be? No pink turtlenecks, but I'm feeling bad. You less, I can't let him go, but watch me loosen up. My grip, I'm hopping in my bag. I'm talking about that go wall. Shit, I need a couple bags. Ain't talking about no go yard. Bitch, you geeking for? I'm really about to drag and go and cry no more. I had to tell that nigga stop playing with me before they find this picture on murder me. Be more careful with me. I ain't like these other bitches that you used to better watch the way you handling me. I told his ass be careful with me. You better be more careful with me. I ain't like these other bitches that you used to better watch the way you handling me.
Well, my darlings, my darlings, my darlings, much love. Thank you for sharing chapters 21 and 22 with me as I remember this book and do a reread of Shannon Holmes' beautiful art put on paper or put in print. We are now 85%. So I probably will finish this before Christmas. I'm doing my best. As you can hear, he refuses to miss an episode. He was quiet for how long was he quiet? He started snoring like in the last 5 or 10 minutes. I'm telling you, this old dog of mine. But much love, hugs, and kisses. Again, if you're new to my channel and this is your first time being here, please hit, and even if it's not your first time and you haven't done it, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell and have it on all notifications, okay? So you make sure you can, get everything I do from post on my community wall to when I go live, yada, 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 okay? Share, of course. Please share with your friends and family that are interested in audiobooks or whatever, and commentary and reading. If you have any suggestions for any more books that you would like to hear me read, please put them in any comment under any of my books. I'll see it, okay? Authors or books and titles, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But again, much love, hugs, and kisses. I'll be back soon with chapters 23 and 24. But I like to do this in hour increments. So I'll see y'all soon. Love y'all. Gizmo loves y'all too.